I think the guys, once again, it goes back to just playing really hard. I think the guys locked into the game plan. They did a great job communicating on the field to get us in the right thing because we put some checks on them and stuff like that. And I think they did a good job with that. And then, they really wanted to play, and it was one of those deals where, hey, man, they played hard, and it was fun to see. It was fun to see the guys play hard, and we tackled better, which showed up in some of the stop and the run stuff, and I thought that was fun for them.
How has the week gone in terms of preparing without AJ and just replacing him right now?
Even like last week and through the year, Keevy's done a good job jumping in and getting meaningful reps when Walt was down before and those kind of things. I think that it's the deal. Who's ever in at the time, they're the starter. And hopefully next man up attitude's good with the guys and I think it's always hard to lose a good player for a little while, but I think that. We got to keep going. It's one of those deals. It's football.
You guys lead the Big 12 in fewest red zone touchdowns allowed so far this season. Is that a matter of toughness?
I think it's a combination of things. I mean, when we first looked at it in two-a-days, our offense was scoring at will, and we didn't really understand our red zone coverages very well. So it was an emphasis that Coach Kleiman put on it earlier because we needed that extra work. And we spent a lot of time in fall camp trying to get the guys to understand that, so much, in fact, that it affected our other coverages in the field when you don't want them to, when you want them to drop and get some depth. And but we came back from that. And I think that's kind of hanging on. We spent a lot of time during fall camp, especially late in fall camp, working on that.
Is this Texas offense any more physical than what you've played against as of late at all?
They are. I think that their O-line is different than we played. They're much bigger. They're not much bigger, but they're more physical than a lot of guys. Their toughness through and through is kind of something that shows up on tape. It's a little different party. They're not afraid to turn around and give the ball and say, hey, we're going to get 3 yards and 2 yards and 5 yards, and at some point that's going to wear, and that's where our big plays are going to come from those things. Just wearing a team down. So it's a little bit different mentality than we've been seeing lately. Everybody wants to spread the ball out and do those things. Where these guys, sure, they're going to take their shots. They're going to do that too. I mean, because they got good players out there too. But they're not afraid just to say, hey, listen, we're going to run. We're going to run inside zone and hit you with it, and then we're going to do it again, and then we're going to do it again, and one of those is going to pop at some point.
On the play that Daquan Patton had the interception against Kansas, it looked like he almost knew where they were going to throw the ball. Can you walk us through that play and why it was so successful?
Yeah, I was actually a little bit panicked about that play. We had told him, we were trying to buzz him, to get out there. 3-by-1, they did have a tendency to go to the X, and we were trying to show it like that, and I think that they figured it out. But, he really, we wanted him to line a little wider, but he was like, just calm down, I'll get there, and he did. So it was a good deal. He was just, it was a different rotation that we had shown before, and it was really the first time that it showed up for the quarterback that he noticed it was 3 deep that we were playing. So when he took it, it was a good deal for Daquan. I mean, he was in the right place at the right time, and it was a really good play for him. And I think that where he lined up, you wouldn't say he was going to end up there. So it kind of helped him on that case,
At this stage of the season, how much more are you able to put on the plate of these guys in terms of what you can throw out there schematically, defensively?
We're getting better. They're starting to get to the point where, at first it was more like, hey, we're going to make this call, and we're going to ride this call, and this is what we're going to be in, and there's nothing that you can change. And, we're trying to kind of baby step it into them. But, really we've done a good job the last few weeks getting in where we can start to put a little bit more on. And they're still learning the defense. There's still that happening. But we're at the point where we can say, hey, now versus this look, we want to play this, and versus this look, we want to play this. So we're starting to get the pieces in. And are we there yet? I don't think so. But we're getting much closer where you can start to say, hey, we're going to call one defense and we might check into something else. Or if we get this, we can get to something else, and we can get to this. We can, and they're starting to get there, which is helpful because you can start to be more multiple that way and try to show some different looks and do some different things, which is cool. That we're close to that point. And as we keep moving forward, hopefully we can keep doing little things that they don't think is a big deal, but as you add up all that stuff, it starts to be better.
Daquan's another guy who was in and out a little bit, maybe with injury last week. How has he done physically?
He's good. He just nicked his shoulder up a little bit. He got hit in the back, but he's been fine. He's taken every rep in practice, so we're good there.
Scottie, big picture. You guys are 6-2, 16th in the CFP rankings. What's this climb been like for you this season?
It's one of those things. It's good to see the guys fight through a little bit of adversity that we had in that month that we had 2 bye weeks and 2 losses. And it was really good for them to see that, hearing all the noise outside, they could kind of do their thing and be part of, really focus on the family. Hey, what's important for the family? Like when we beat Mississippi State, it's the same thing. They were told, hey, you're good, you're ranked again, blah, 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 all that. And you get all that noise and you try to say, hey, that doesn't matter. Every week's a new week, and it doesn't matter if you beat X and they beat Y, because, that happens all over this place, So it was fun to see them climb out of that and come back. And really, I'd mentioned before, one of the best weeks at that time was the pre-Baylor week of practice. And to see them, let them say, okay, we're going to keep building on that prep week of practice instead of the result of that game. That's the neat thing, is they're starting to believe in the preparation for it, and the results happen all by themselves, and God's got a plan for us however it works out, but those weeks of preparation prepare you for whatever the result's going to be, and it's going to make you better in the end, and that's fun to see them go through that transition.
I know probably when it happened, you weren't happy about Deron getting the penalty after the interception, but in hindsight, was it not pretty cool to see the ball spin the way it did?
Well, I won't tell you that was a very cool spin and that spun for a long time. I won't tell you that, but I will tell you that it was very upsetting. When he got to the sideline, he was excited and I was not. So it was kind of the opposite reaction when we got to the sideline. But yeah, that was a good play by him. Let's just say that.
Did you note that was a penalty, like that merited a penalty when he spun the ball?
Yeah, especially in games like that, you get a rivalry game. In fact, they're going to call everything close. They understand what's on the line for the guys, so you got to prepare for that, and we obviously didn't have him prepared for that. It's as much on us as it is on him.
Had you ever seen him do that before in practice?
Oh yeah,
So he's really good at that. Like he's made.
Yeah, they can celebrate in practice all they want. That's where they got a chance to do it. So I just don't. We don't want to see that. It cost us points because we were in scoring position right there. That takes us back 15 yards. We don't move the ball. We don't get any points. That costs us points, and that's a bad decision on our part. And we should have done a better job getting them prepared for what was going to happen on the field with the officials and how close they were going to call it. And sometimes you assume that we're more experienced in that too, and they understand that. So we got to do a better job as that too.
Having said that, is Trey still allowed to do his belly rub after a sack?
Sure, I don't think anybody minds seeing a big guy rub his belly. I think that's more fun than saying something to the opposing team on their bench. That's it's a little bit different.
Was he as good Saturday as it looked to us, Trey?
Trey played well. Trey's been playing well for a little while too. Him and Minnie have been doing a good job. Even rushing a little bit more. They've been doing a good job being disruptive on first and second down in the rush group when they stay in. So it's fun. He's been doing a good job.